What's going on, guys? Ryan with Jedha Patrol back with another video today, unboxing Commander Cody from Hot Toys. That's right, guys, Ryan back with another video today. Finally it arrived. Commander Cody, super hyped for this figure. Been hyped for this figure all year long, actually. Ever since it was announced they were getting a Cody, there was always the hope that we would get a Rex, and then some more 501sts, and then some other ones, and you know, it's coming true. So here's our first one in the studio, and I'm pretty stoked about this. I do have the Sideshow Commander Cody. We'll compare it at the end of the video, but I'm super excited about this. So let's take a look at the box. It looks pretty good, I think. So here we go, guys. We've got Commander Cody sitting right here with the unmasked portrait, which I can tell you just right off the picture, way better than the Sideshow one that came out like 5 years ago, but you know, there's that. We got our normal band going on here around the side, MMS 524. We've got a picture of the figure on the side. We got our whodunit on the back. If anybody's interested in that, you can pause that and check it out. And then we've got another band on the side. But let's go ahead and open this thing up, see what we've got. And boom, Hot Toys plop. Dude, check out that artwork. Woo! That looks like an Alex Brooks photo if I ever seen one. That looks fantastic. So well done. That looks great. All right, so let's take that out of there and let's take a look at all these accessories. Holy bunch of accessories, Batman. Woo! All right, we got some stuff to take out of the box. Let's take the outer clamshell. Well, I guess we'll just take this out. We'll get you out of here, which is normal. We got our clamshell. We got some accessories here we're gonna have to take off. And, oh, there's tape. We'll deal with those in just a minute. All right, let's look at this thing. Now, I do have the plastic pieces already off of the figure to make it a little easier for everybody so we don't have any crazy glare. But here we go, guys. We've got the figure here. We've got his rifles. We've got his pistol blasters yeah, there's those. And then we've got another rifle here. And then we've got the head sculpt. Jetpack deal or backpack here. And some antennas, which no doubt will be super fragile. So let's go ahead and get everything out of the box and let's just take a look at what we got. All right, guys, so we've got all the accessories out of the box, and it actually comes with a good bit of accessories for a trooper figure, which normally, you know, we don't see a whole lot. We'll take a look at Cody in just a minute. Let's take a look at the accessories. First, we have the base with these stupid feet print again, and it is a little different than the Mando one. This one's got some more red orange color in it versus the very light yellow tan in the Mando one, but it's exactly the same base. We do have, let me get the light in there, Commander Cody sitting right there, and you know, it's fine. You know, it just is what it is. Yeah, whatever. You know my thoughts on those things. We do have Cody's jetpack right here, which is looking pretty good. Paint apps on this are looking great. Like I said earlier, we will compare the Sideshow version with this version. Thankfully it is magnetic, so a big fan of that. And they've actually added some like felt material here, padding, so it doesn't scratch up the back plate of Cody on the figure. But I think overall that looks pretty nice. It's lightweight. I don't see any issues with that falling off or anything. We've got a bunch of hands, which we definitely have less hands than we're used to with the Sideshow clones, but the ones they've included, I think, are worth it. I think they're pretty cool. You can see the paint apps going on here with the printing going on here with the orange and scuffs and battle damage and all that kind of stuff. We got our thumbs up hand, which is pretty nice. Kind of dig that one. We've got a gesturing hand on his left, just a pointing, you know, go over there and take out the seppies. And then we've got this other here, another one, you know, charging forward hand. That was one thing the Sideshow clones really did well. They included a ton of accessories and hands and posing options, and that really made those figures, if you had a whole army of them, you could have them a little bit different on each one. And you know, they really had a really good thing going on with those. So I was happy to see that we got a pile of hands with here, but again, it's definitely less than the Sideshow ones. And the other thing we don't get like the bendable feet, or not the articulated feet. We don't have those as with this version as well. The Sideshow one does come with, so it's got a little, you know, bonus on the Sideshow version. We do have this hand right here, which I do want to talk about. Normally, this is the light up hand. Okay, this is a light up arm for the, you know, Execute Order 66 hologram deal here. Normally, I don't use these things because they're a nightmare to put on and off, but I really like what they did here. This is a simple plug. Absolutely simple plug. The battery compartment is right in here. You literally just pull this piece off here. See if I can do this without breaking it, because I've already got the batteries in it. But it actually works quite well. However, it's not very bright at all. Oh, there it goes. It's not very bright. There's a switch in here. Turn that on, and honestly, it's not very bright. Even if I put one of these, let's see, we'll put the smallest guy. We'll put Yoda on here just for an example for you guys. It's not the brightest. It's not the brightest. But so I don't know that I would actually use this. Certainly the batteries are not going to last. It's nice that they included it as an option, but as far as the long-term display piece, you know, it's a little lackluster, in my opinion. So this will end up staying in the box. I won't even put it in my accessories bag. But here we go. We do have some holograms. We've got Yoda looking pretty good, so that's pretty cool. I wouldn't mind displaying that hand on the figure, but I wouldn't use the light up function. I guess I'll say that. We've got the Emperor Palpatine right here, Darth Sidious. Nice little hologram action going there. We've got a Utapau Trooper Airborne, which we definitely need to see this in action figure form from Hot Toys. Sideshow gave us this figure years and years ago, and they teased us with it. Hot Toys did, but we haven't seen it for announcement or release yet, so that would be nice. And then we've got Kenobi. Hello there. So looking pretty good there. So we got, those are pretty good accessories. We got some pistol blasters here, which are kind of odd for the fact he doesn't really have anywhere to put them. If you look, even on the, I believe the Black Series figure, he actually has holsters to put these in. On this figure, there are no holsters. Rex definitely uses these all the time, but Cody didn't really use them all that much, I don't think. But I'm happy they're there. I'm just not sure. It would be nice to have some holsters to put them on there, but, you know, it is what it is. Here's another blaster going here. Paint apps looking good. I don't think this is going to be anything to write home about. Their paint apps are nice. The grips are definitely less chunky than the Sideshow ones. The Sideshow ones are like, I mean, you got to have some giant hands to hold them things. So that's kind of nice that looks a little bit more to scale. And then we've got his long rifle. And this thing, as always, these things are huge. I mean, they're literally 2/3 the size of the figure. So displaying them, if you have them actually displaying this thing, it takes up a lot of real estate to use this, depending on how you pose it. But I think they did, oh, there we go, dropping it. I think they did a good job painting it. But it's just a normal blaster. I mean, there's really nothing exciting there. Taking a close-up look at Cody himself, this thing, let me tell you this way, guys. I was super excited about this. Hot Toys did not disappoint. This figure looks flippin' beautiful. It is everything I was hoping for in a clone commander from Hot Toys. First off, when you pick this thing up, you can tell this is not a Sideshow body. This is no doubt a Hot Toys body. The joints are firm. There's no issues with that. It feels solid. It feels solid in the hand. The Sideshow ones, if you had experience with them, you know they're showing their age, and you know they're loose. This guy is definitely not loose, but the paint apps are crisp. The battle damage parts are beautiful. The colors are correct, I believe, and just look at all the details they put on this thing. They didn't have to go all out like this, but they did, and they did not disappoint. So we got his antenna right here, which is already coming on the figure. This came in the box. We had to add this antenna and this one right here, and this is the scary one. Like this one, I think, you know, be okay. This sticks out a good ways. So when you're maneuvering, posing this arm, you want to be mindful of that. You might even, and I might do this, I might actually take this off while I'm posing it and then reattach it, because that would suck if that breaks. But looking at the helmet, it looks fantastic. I don't think there's any issue with that. I wish Hot Toys gave us the Phase 1 helmet, which is one reason why you might want to get the Sideshow version, which is actually why I picked up the Sideshow version, because I saw this was going to come with the Phase 2 helmet, and so I can have one with Phase 1 and one with Phase 2, and we'll compare those in a little bit, but that might be a benefit to having both. Here we go. We got paint apps going on here. I mean, all around. Look at all the battle damage they've got going on here. I think this thing looks beautiful. The feet are definitely cleaner than the Sideshow ones, if I remember correctly. Especially the articulated feet on the Sideshow ones. They're especially dirty. But I think this thing looks absolutely beautiful. Love all this. Love all this detail it's got going on here. It's battle damage all around the back. This is where your magnetic back jetpack attaches. I mean, come on. Beautiful. Articulation-wise, here, I'm going to do this right now. You know what, I'll just pose this one. Articulation wise, we can get the arm to go out about that far. You can probably stretch that a little bit further. If I get this out of the way, this is on an elastic band, so this will move up and down. You can kind of get it out of the way while you're maneuvering stuff, so that's nice. These are definitely not loose. The sideshow ones, the armors are a little loose. That bicep one's a little loose, but that one's definitely not. So that's nice. Double bend on the elbows, which you're going to have to use both bends. If you're going to be bending this, bend it here and bend it here so you can get around this thicker armor plate. But that's not bad for a trooper. That's not bad at all. So I don't mind that at all. I think you're going to be able to get them way back there, which we'll definitely do with some posing. And the ab crunch, I don't expect a whole lot. I really don't. Let's see, backwards. Yeah, it's not gonna, it would go backwards, but it's not going to stay there. It's going to bounce back. Going forwards, again, I'm not expecting a whole lot. Your armor's going to hit, and it just is what it is. Rotation-wise, it's actually got some decent rotation. Like that's not terrible. That's not terrible at all. I don't mind that at all. At the legs, again, we're going to have issues with the armor, but we'll try and get them up there as high as we can. We'll do some rocket style posing. That's not bad. That's not bad. We're gonna have double jointed on the knee. I'm not mad about that at all. As far as will he do splits, I mean, for a tighter figure body, it actually got pretty good range of motion. This fabric, let's see here. Sorry, crotch shot. But this fabric in here is it's nicely done. Like you see, there's definitely some padding. There's definitely padding going on. That's probably to keep the armor kind of where it's supposed to be, but it's not inhibiting the movement of the figure at all. So I think that's okay. I like this thing. I'm sure we just got a normal ball joint down here at the feet, if anybody's curious about that. And I kind of like this thing. But let's take a look at this helmet and then the sideshow helmet, which I have right here. Let me see if I can grab this thing. So, and we'll look at the portraits as well. But here is obviously the Hot Toys one on the left, the sideshow one on the right. Color-wise, they're pretty flipping close. This one's a tad bit more yellowish, orange, brighter color maybe. Tad bit. The paint apps, I mean, this wasn't bad for the time. I mean, you can't be mad at this figure, okay? But the paint apps, you can tell, are definitely better on this one. This one's got more of a wash than this one does. So Hot Toys did a better job on that, I think. And just look at the details in the grooves right in here, how they filled in that with dark. And then this one's clear. So they just took a little bit more detail on that. And I think they nailed it. So this is, like I said, the sideshow one's not bad. But there's that. Let me grab the Phase 1 helmet, let you guys know what I'm talking about with that. So here's the Phase 1 on the left from Sideshow. Here's the Phase 2, which we got obviously on this Hot Toys version. This is what I'm talking about, the difference in having both figures. You might want to display your Phase 1. Paint apps are definitely, not as good as the Hot Toys one, but that's, that's to be expected. But this is why you might want to get the Sideshow version, so you get the Phase 1 helmet, Hot Toys version Phase 2. Now, the figures side by side, I'll put the helmet back on here. And so you can see like the paint apps and everything going on here. You can see the definite difference in them. This one's definitely more crisp. This is, I mean, it's 5 years old, figure. It is what it is. They're not terrible. I'd say colors wise, they're pretty close on the colors. The knees, the armors, everything. This has definitely got more battle damage and scuffs and marks up on it than the Sideshow one, especially on that leg. You can see really big difference there. But if we go down, you'll see the Sideshow one's got more paint apps and scuffs and whatnot than the Hot Toys one. So it's kind of like they just, I'm not sure what was, I don't know. It's just weird. Here going on here, you can see the attention to detail on the Hot Toys version here versus the Sideshow version. Magnetic backpack for the Sideshow one as well. And I think they just, I don't know. I like both. I mean, I prefer the Hot Toys one. It's newer. But this one with the Phase 1 helmet's not bad. But there are some major differences. So if I put these guys down here, there are some major differences in the portrait. So we looked at the figure. Now let's take a look at this Tamora Morrison portrait from Hot Toys. This is where the money's at. This is where Hot Toys just slaps Sideshow right in the face and says, hey, look at what we can do. So this right here is absolutely beautiful. This is why I bought 2 of the Hot Toys versions, so I could actually display one with the helmet and one without. and I really, really quite like this one. So definitely not from the later episodes of Clone Wars or Revenge of the Sith, because he definitely had some more battle damage going on his face in season 7 of Clone Wars. But you know, it's okay. But there's that. Here's the sideshow version. And you're going, what? Like this? So I would never ever display this. But for 5 years ago, I mean, it just is what it is. It's not terrible. But clearly, Hot Toys has got the win on the portrait. No question about it. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. I'm gonna pose these guys up. We'll do a comparison, and we'll see what the final thoughts are. All right, guys, here we go. Side by side, we got a Phase 1 Sideshow Cody versus Phase 2 Hot Toys Cody. And let's just punch in and take a look at some of these details close up. The portrait, the paint apps on the Hot Toys one, by far superior to the Sideshow version. You guys can see all the details and the paint apps going on here. The battle damage, I mean, it would be way less cool if he was a shiny. But look at the feet. There's a difference between the Hot Toys on the left, Sideshow on the right. You can see all the paint details. The Sideshow ones, like, they just really wanted the feet to be dirty. And then the rest of the armor is clean. So maybe that makes sense. I don't know. But there is the Phase 1. I would have loved for Hot Toys to give us a Phase 1 helmet to go with this version. But, you know, we didn't get one. But, you know, guys, let me know down below if it makes sense for you to have both versions, to have Phase 1 and a Phase 2. Maybe you want two Hot Toys versions, one to display with the mask on, one without the mask. Kind of deal with that. One thing I have noticed on the Hot Toys version, that arm that pops off for the light up function, it pops off rather easily posing it. So that was kind of a pain to deal with. Wasn't really expecting that. Like, it's not flimsy, but once you start moving that thing around, it does pop off easier than I would expect it to. But you can see these two side by side. I'm actually going to give you guys a few poses to go on here. I don't normally use display stands with this, but the Sideshow body is so loose, it won't stand up without one. And so there's not a height difference between the two. I decided to put the Hot Toys one on a stand as well. But I've got some other figures I want to break out, give you guys some pose ideas for your own collection, and let's have some fun with this thing. All right, guys, so this next pose, I actually have Cody with a Sideshow clone shiny. If you remember, Cody, Rex met up with the shinies. And I also have a Geonosis battle droid, because that's the only battle droid I own right now. I have two of those. I got 2-pack. And so I wanted to have Cody rescuing the shiny, because he's a shiny, from these battle droids, and I think it looks pretty sick. Anytime I can incorporate multiple figures into a display, I try to, even though it does take up a lot more space, but I think it looks pretty good. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below what you think of these. If you want to see more poses, stuff like this, and maybe a dedicated posing video on just random things, whatever it is, put your suggestions down below what you like to see. Maybe it's a particular figure, maybe it's a multiple figures, or how, you know, whatever. But we can certainly do that. There are a pile of good posers out there. Definitely follow the hashtag Poser of the Week on Instagram. You'll see all kinds of cool stuff on there. But right here, like I said, I've got this battle droid here. I'll give you guys a closer look at Cody as he kind of comes around. And I've got him. I mean, just look at him. Now, I will tell you, I do have a gripe with this figure right off the bat, guys. Look at that. It's freaking beautiful. I do have a gripe with this figure, and it is the hands. The hands that hold the blasters are just not large enough. The blaster grips are just, I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult. So I definitely have an issue with that. It actually took some force and some I actually took a precision screwdriver to wedge open the fingertips to be able to get the blaster in his hand, both the regular rifle blaster and these pistol blasters. So that was quite frustrating. I guess you could heat them up and make them a little bit more pliable, but I didn't really decide to do that. But that is definitely a thing with this figure, that the Sideshow hands, you didn't really have that a problem with it, you know? You didn't really have that problem. But I definitely had that issue with this one. So there we go. Look at Cody. Check out the jetpack. Looking good. Down there, protecting his brother. I've got him, this is a shiny deluxe, by the way, if anybody's wondering. Comes with this awesome backpack. So I got him holding the strap right there, and I've got this shiny with one blaster still at the ready as he's being dragged off by Cody to face off against this battle droid. So a super fun pose. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. We'll do maybe one or two more and see what we end up with. All right, for those of you who like a more museum-esque pose, I know some of you out there. Here we go. This is definitely one you could do. Not very difficult. Resting on that back foot. He's got his arm up with the helmet in the other hand, and I decided to use the portrait because it's freaking awesome. And you gotta put a weapon in the other hand. You just got to. Now, one thing I've noticed about this, and I'll try and show you this in this pose, is the upper armor rides up a little high. And let's see if I can get in here close and show you what I mean. But you'll see how it sits up off the shoulders. And you can almost see when this spins around, you can see a gap of light. Yep, there you go, just barely. How it sits up. And I keep having to push that down, which has been kind of interesting to do. I had that issue with the Sideshow one as well. This one is just, it just is what it is. You keep having to push that down. But you can see right here the close-up wise of this, the paint apps going on this helmet. And then the portrait are just, I don't know. I like the portrait. I don't know if I'm going to display mine with the portrait. I kind of like the helmet though, so that's the thing. But going down, you can just see all these little paint details going on here. There's the blaster. I mean, just going all the way down to the feet. So I do wish he came with the little articulated running feet. I think that would have been a nice touch, but we didn't get that, so we're gonna have to do what we, do with what we got. But I think this is actually pretty good. Now, the other thing I've noticed as kind of posing this guy, if you're moving him around, that backpack, while it is magnetic, it's not the strongest backpack, and I kept knocking it off. I mean, just every time I'd move one thing and I'd try to push that upper chest plate down, I would inadvertently hit that backpack with my hand. So if you're posing this figure a lot, take the backpack off, pose it how you want, then put the backpack back on. But just right off here, just a simple pose. Just simple, and it looks great, and I'm a big fan of it. So we're going to do one more, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts on this figure. All right, guys, so here we go. I've got Commander Cody with the long rifle, with the gesturing hand, because I think it's, if you're going to include cool hands like that, I think maybe you should use them. And you may not have battle droids, you might have other clone troopers to display them with, and you want a somewhat dynamic pose. This is one you can do. You certainly don't need a stand for him to support himself, so that's always nice because it looks cleaner on the display. But overall, I'm having some fun with this. Just spending about an hour or so with this figure. The part I was talking about earlier about the chest armor riding up, that's a bit of an annoyance. The hands, having to force those hands into the right, or force the rifles into the hands, that took a good minute, and that was a bit unfortunate. The other thing you got to be mindful of, and this is not an issue with just the figure itself, this is just product of having an armored figure. If you want any range of motion out of that head, it's gonna bounce into the upper armor, which is why you don't want that upper armor riding up, because then it just looks just kind of weird. But overall, I'm super happy with this. I definitely like this better than the Sideshow version. As you can see, the details going on in this figure. I definitely like this better than the Sideshow version. I mean, no question at all. Just handling the Sideshow version for this video, just remember how loose that body is and how loose the actual armor plates are, and they kind of flop around a little bit. This one definitely doesn't have that issue. There's definitely some padding going on underneath in the suit. When it rotates back around here, I'll show it to you. Where the leg armor is, you can actually see it kind of bunching up. But if you are a Clone Wars fan, do not sleep on this figure. I don't see them. Here, let me zoom back in here, guys. You can see it where it's kind of bunches up there where they've got some padding underneath that suit. Do not sleep on this figure. There's Cody's butt for you, for everybody who's really curious about what a clone butt looks like. There you are. But I cannot wait till we get Rex to go along with this guy. I really would love to have some of those 212 Deluxes, maybe some Utapau troopers. That'd be cool. Maybe Hot Toys will drop us a General Grievous. I sold my Sideshow General Grievous a while back when I picked up the quarter scale premium format. Definitely do not regret that because I freaking love that statue. But I really enjoy this. I like to see some more battle droids as well. Maybe some super battle droids. That would be pretty awesome. But that's kind of where I'm at with this figure. But overall, super happy with this. The value for dollar, I think, is there. The accessories are there. The hand gestures, the paint apps, the posability. It's definitely, I mean, you can pose them dynamically and not having to worry about anything. And the range of motion, even with the armor pieces on there, aren't that bad. They do get in the way, but check out that elbow bend right there. Even with that armor, having that double bend elbow and being able to support that giant rifle, I'm just telling you, it's just cool. It's just a cool figure. So that's my final thoughts on this figure. I'll definitely do some more poses. Guys, let me know down below if you want to see some more posing videos. We'll definitely do that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and collect what you like. We'll see you next time.